What up, everybody? Esoteric Eddie here. Namaste. Today we have an amazing guest. Yes, we're out here on the ranch, so you already know you might hear some birds, some cars, some friendly neighbors, whatever it is. But don't let that distract you from the amazing conversation. Today we have an awesome guest. We're going to get into his work with Kundalini, with hypnotherapy, acupuncture, so much. I mean, I just met him probably a week ago, a week or two ago. And so I'm actually going to be learning so much more about him with all of you. And it's going to be exciting. So I'll let him do all the talking and we're going to get deep into this. You don't want to miss this. With that being said, everybody, please welcome Sylvari. Is that how you say your name?
Yep, Sylvari Ruistil.
Wow. Okay. Powerful. How you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Awesome.
Excited to be on the show.
Yes. Yeah. So we met at a Friendsgiving event, and my girlfriend took me there. It was her friends, and we were all mutual friends of Cedar. And you happened to lead the Kundalini meditation that night, which was really good. It was really powerful, and it was interesting for me because usually I tend to feel something, right? You always feel something. And I was wondering what I was going to feel. And I thought that I was going to get emotional, maybe this is a moment for me to be vulnerable and get emotional, maybe cry, I don't know. But I didn't get to that space. Instead, I kept feeling this confidence almost of building up like life or the universe or whatever the Kundalini was building me up, saying, no, this is not a time for crying necessarily, but this is a time to start to step into your power. And I thought it was interesting because I kept that to myself, but your partner, forgot her name. Kim. She brought that up. She's like, she was doing energy work on me as well as you were. And she was like, yeah, I felt like you were ready for the next level. You're ready to go to the next level. And I was like, oh, wow, that was pretty much everything that I was thinking. So that was a powerful Kundalini meditation and breath work. Thank you for that.
Of course.
But let's get into your story. So before we get deep, just tell the people a little bit about, who you are and what it is you do today.
Well, I'm Sylvari Ruistil. I'm right now mostly an acupuncturist, but I do a lot of energy work on the side. It all started out when I was 18, and I started looking at an ad in a magazine called Light Connections here in San Diego, and I found this hypnotherapy teacher, and what he did was so amazing. So many people came to him for different types of healings, recovery from stroke or other types of emotional issues that was resolved pretty quickly. And so I spent a few years studying from him, but all that time, while I met so many amazing people, I just couldn't really build myself up to where I wanted to be in life. I just couldn't hypnotize myself. It's kind of like heal thyself. I couldn't work on myself. And I finally had to decide to study something else. I went to study massage because that's actually something I could actually feel. I wanted something I could feel with internally. So I studied that for a few years, and I kind of felt a little ashamed. I don't really have a degree. I kind of dropped out of college just to go to study hypnotherapy. And so I went back to college to study Chinese medicine, and I graduated with that. And that was fine for a few years until I went and saw this person started doing Kundalini work on people. People were screaming, shaking, laughing, crying, having different type of experiences. And I've been attended for probably 2-3 times while they were here in San Diego. And I was just noticing what were happening in their lifetimes. Some were having life changes, change of partnerships, change of careers, change of where they were living spaces after their sessions. So I decided, I want to learn this too. But the teacher was charging about $10,000 to teach, learn from him. So I decided, I actually studied Chinese medicine for a long while and studied energy work since I was really young. So I decided, I'm going to try to learn this too. So I spent 1 month in Europe backpacking and just trying to theorize these ideas together, how to actually make this work. So when I got back to San Diego, I just put these ideas into practice and see, actually, does this actually work? How does this actually work? And my first two friends that was able to film it were able to experience the same things. They were actually able to the body movements and catharsis of emotional bursting of release.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy you say that about, after people experiencing this, they experience life changes, moving changes. I mean, it was just like a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago, and shortly after that, I moved to this new place.
Yeah.
Something happened, man. Something in your Kundalini breathwork brought this change about. And you know what's gnarly, actually, I think about it now, is the last studio I was living in, although it had its perks and its beauties, I was so stagnant and stuck there. And then shortly after the Kundalini breathwork, I mean, I moved and I've just been on fire. I mean, this is the third interview this weekend. That's more than I did the 6 months that I lived there.
Yeah, because when you understand what Kundalini is, it's like pouring gasoline to a fire. It makes whatever you that is special more, and it tunes you to truth. When you experience Kundalini, it doesn't force you to change. It actually just makes you perceive things differently. That's all the things you've been putting on the back burner. It's just like, I've been avoiding this issue for such a long time, and you realize this is making my life unhappy. This is not working in my life. It's going to cause me some serious issues if I not pay attention to these issues I'm not addressing. And when you do that, your whole life takes onto another direction because you're listening to your own inner guidance, your own inner path.
Yeah, I love that way you put it that night too, where it's like you're just pouring into a fire that already exists.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you found all this at 18 years old, and then I began to find it around 18 years old. And so you're originally from China?
Originally from China. Traveled there. Used to go back every year or two until COVID happens, and I haven't gone back until last year, earlier this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you when you left China?
I was age 6.
Wow. Yeah. So you still have some core memories there.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Have you done any work over there?
Not energy work. No. Most of the international stuff I've done was possibly in Turkey. Last year I was in Turkey for 3 months at a little community, beachside community. I was just doing energy work there and causing some really cool things to happen.
Okay. Were you just like cruising around doing it, or did you put together events?
We had a little center that found me people for me to work on, and they just came from all over. Like some people just came from out of the city in Istanbul on vacation, just kind of just stumbled on my place. It's like 3 different middle-aged women. It's like just trying to experience, just came to this random place in the beach and just says, I just want to experience this. I don't know what this is about. I just heard you were cool. And my first session, they did not experience anything. They had no feelings. Then I did the second part of energy work, which I'll go about later, which I'll call Christ energy, because that actually was my experience with Christ when at church. I'll tell the story later. But when they sat down for the second part of energy work, they started, because when we do that, we start eye gazing, and they started, we hold hands and we look at each other's eyes. And when they saw that, there's something came over them, like a spirit washed over them, and they started just instantly crying. Their bodies just almost slumped over and just lost consciousness almost. And this had their most intense experience of their lives. Because when you experience that divine energy within yourself, it is so ravishing, it's so life-changing that you can't explain until you experience it yourself. Because there's no words for experiencing God until you experience it. You can only experience God. You can't define God itself.
Wow.
But when I teach this medicine, you have to realize it's not me imposing this energy on you. It's me just I'm just carrying a torch. And when I just carry a torch and I just wave a torch around, that fire is going to go to your fire and just awaken your own fire, that which is your own abilities to realize who and what potential that you have. And that ability just enters you and just ravish your entire being.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we can't define God. I always like to say that, you know, God is beyond any conceivable human term or conceivable human thought. You know, it's like, it's so naive of us to think that we could put God in a box. You know, it's like, it's impossible. It's literally impossible for us to conceive and fathom the magnitude of what God is. And we can experience part of the presence, part of the light, part of it, you know, but that's why it's so powerful. Even this little bit that we get through these practices is like, can just like you said, doesn't make you pass out and fall over. It's just so powerful. But that's awesome that you were able to do that for those two women.
Yeah. The only problem with this energy work is I can't force it. It's either you experience it or it takes some time for you to experience it. It's just, you just have to be patient and just have to wait for that thing to come. When you try to expect something, it will not come. When you let go of your expectations, that's when that thing comes to you. And when that happens, it actually wows and outperforms what your expectations are.
Yes. You know, it's funny. Actually, I just did acupuncture for the first time last night.
Oh.
Yeah, I was with Jade, my girlfriend, and her friend is a esoteric acupuncturist, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we had a beautiful dinner, and then afterwards she sat us or laid us both down, and then she put one on both hands right here, in between the thumb and the index.
Yeah.
And then she put two on my foot, one on each foot, and then one on my third eye. And I didn't know what to expect, you know, but I immediately did feel, you know, sensations of like energy, you know, like warming sensations. The one on my forehead was very tingly, felt good, you know, felt like somebody was kind of like, I don't know, it was just tingly, you know. And then I just laid there and it was just so soothing. I just fell asleep, just passed out. I forgot I was even there, you know, but it was cool. It was a cool first time. But okay, so you find all this around 18 years old. Was there anybody in your life that kind of led you down the spiritual path early on, or were you kind of the first one?
That was my hypnotherapy teacher. Joseph Costa was my main teacher for most of my that initial period. But then I had to break free from that. Most of my learnings was actually through psychedelics. It's actually through that.
The true teacher.
Yeah, the true teacher. Because what psychedelics does is actually let go of your ego and is able to listen to your own inner self. The ego has its purpose. Everyone says like you don't need an ego. You actually do need an ego. Otherwise, you just be staring at the wall and just start drooling. But when you understand what the true self is, that was that one mind that does everything for you, because your body starts listening to this energy work. Your body starts moving itself. It starts learning its own movement. It starts have its own consciousness. You are way more intelligent than what you think you are in your brain. You are way more than that consciousness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were just talking about that. Actually, the past 2 episodes I just did, you know, about the subtle body, you know, and how we have those extra sensibilities. And we all know that we do, but we kind of ignore that, you know. And, wow, so you think, or you know that the body has its own consciousness.
I do, because of my own work through experience with Kundalini. My first very experience was with 5-MeO-DMT. Well, it's not my first major experience, because my first experience with mushroom was a really wild ride that sent me on like a time loop in a taco stand, staring at a car dashboard and seeing like chakra symbols. And then a homeless guy came up to the window. He was like an Indian saint. It's like, looked to me, and I kind of fell face down, and a dog licked me in the face. That was a really weird first. I had not that great of a watcher for my first psychedelic experience. Yeah. But my 5-MeO experience was so strange for my first session, because if you have never done 5-MeO before, it's what they call the God medicine, because it quickly jumpstarts you to experience infinity, absolute infinity. And it's within a matter of minutes. The first few thing that happened was that my mind started trying to grasp onto things, because you feel like you're dying. Not like you're hurt and dying, you just feel like you're disappearing into nothingness. And you're trying to hold into a modicum of sanity. And when that happened, I finally had to remember a word of my friend's voice was said, you have to let go and just surrender to the music. And so I did. And when that happened, I just felt my mind just blew into like millions of fractals of things that I couldn't really understand. Like I felt like outer edges of the universe. And when I came back, I saw like my friend like painting something. And I thought, I saw this painting. I drew this painting. That was me. I drew it. It's like I was getting into the consciousness of other people. And I was just so confused during that experience, like understanding what is self and what is me. And wasn't until my second 5-meal experience, I was out more in nature at that time, and I was able to relax more. And that time I was able to just calmly just let go and just surrender to my deep self. And all of a sudden I just sensed this presence, and I just felt something just like circle around me. I just knew it was God, and just, oh, hey, it's you. And I was like, hey, isn't this supposed to be like a non-dual experience? Like you're me and I'm you, but why are you out there?
Yeah.
And so it was just like, that was the start of my journey. And after when I started learning Kundalini, I started taking other plant medicines like San Pedro and ayahuasca, LSD, mushrooms. And I was trying to understand how to interact with this energy. And when I started taking San Pedro medicine, it was really gentle. It was actually my favorite medicine, even though I can't really stomach it anymore.
Oh, really?
But it's so gentle that I was able to just let go of myself and actually enter to a past life. I didn't know what that past life was, except that I was in World War II. I didn't know I was Nazi or Jewish, or if I was just somewhere else in who I was in that lifetime.
You got to do your past life ancestry.
I did.
Find out which side you were on.
And I was just able to let that lifetime go. And when I did that, my body started doing martial arts. It's like my body going on automatic motions and started moving by itself. And that night, I just kept chanting Om Shiva Shakti. And over again. I know who Shiva is, but I was not too familiar with Shakti. And so I did some research, and I came into the religion of Kashmir Saivism, which is a really beautiful non-dual realization of God. It actually explains very well how God is both immanent and both transcendent at the same time. And it just explains it in the presence of both, describe it in two aspects, the transcendent, which is Shiva, and the immanence, which is Shakti. And so I started recording these martial arts and trying to understand what these are. I thought, oh, these are some weird movements, and I didn't really thought much about it until one time I was doing psychedelics, and I felt like I was getting possessed. I felt like, because my body was just moving so much on its own. Whoa. I called my cousin from downstairs and just had him do some energy work on me. And all of a sudden I just started oming. And when I started doing that, my body just started doing like so many mudras in my hands and super fast motions. And I thought, oh, that's cool. What's this really beautiful mudras, and really like everything seemed like, how you say, very in a flow. And everything seemed perfect together and unionized. Because when you do see people do 5-MeO DMT, they started doing mudras too, or actually their body goes in symmetrical form, or like acting out, because that's when you know that they're into a non-dual consciousness. But when I did it, it's not symmetrical, it's like more balanced, because everything is like balanced towards each other. So I thought, is there anything meaningful for these movements? And so I actually had a staff at hand, and it was a hexagonal bow staff, Joe staff actually. And when I started doing those movements, it actually worked with the staff. It actually was so perfectly in line with the staff that it actually in line with natural body movements. And
so you were like using the staff.
Yeah. Oh. And I was doing at really high speeds. And I started learning a whole-blown martial arts without any previous. Well, I did have one season, one like college session of martial arts for self-defense, but it wasn't really much just self-defense. It was not like learning, or it's more like simple techniques rather than like a whole movement style.
Yeah.
And it was just downloaded to me. And when I started recording it with other people, I started going into a flow with other people and started working on them. And it actually works into, it's both applicable as a massage style and both applicable as an actual martial arts. And when you look at the videos, and at first it looks very funny, very childish, like people doing like slapsticks kind of things, but it's not. When you slow down, actually examine the videos, you could actually see geometric shapes that are actually being formed and how really fluid. And it's like if you mix something that's both very human, both very alien, and both very AI put together, because it's done at extremely high speeds. Because I had one that was moving in my Instagram, that was moving with my aunt. And if you slow down looking at it, those movements are extremely fluid.
Whoa, so you're like opening up like gates to the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
With like the...
Because when I was examining all the points that I was doing in the bodies, they all go around acupuncture points. They all go around all those regions that occur in the body. Because when the speed, how I do it, it goes, you feel for the, it's not like a psychic sense, but it's just like a knowing sense of where those things are.
Yeah. Do you have like go-to movements that you do for certain things?
It's not like a go-to movements. It's just like what feels right at the time, because when you start doing the movements, every other movement, there's another movement to counteract that movement.
So everyone is unique, basically. Every time you do the movements, it's going to be unique.
Yeah, well, it's not. There's actual form. The movements itself is a full body form, even though the one that I recorded was actually a sitting down one that we're doing hand movements. It's kind of like, I would say the idea is similar to push hands, but it's way different than push hands.
What's push hands?
Push hands is a type of training practices in Tai Chi that two partners get together and just kind of move their hands together to try to unbalance each other, to train their bodies to sense, to learn their sense of grounding.
Okay, wow. And so when did you start to step into your power and start to, want to master these things? I guess, what really came first for you in the practices?
What really came first was just right after meeting that person who did Kundalini, that I started going into, I started traveling and trying to doing the energy work on myself. Because it took me a while, because at first I could do it to other people, but I still could not do it to myself. And so I had to understand why I couldn't do it to myself. And it was really about letting go of the ego and surrendering, because it all goes back to my hypnosis days, because I couldn't do it to myself. So I was reading up about like early days of hypnosis and psychedelics. I was reading up on LSD. And I tried using that theory of using LSD, mixing with hypnosis, and I experimented with different types of hypnosis, and I finally found one for myself, and I remade it that fits for me, and I was able to experience that divine consciousness and get that same feeling back. And what I found out, it's not really about doing things. It's about letting go and not doing. It's very similar to the theories of Taoism. It's about surrendering and just not doing. Because when you surrender and relax, you could tune in to a higher type of consciousness. You could actually feel that type of consciousness. And when you feel your higher self, or what you call God, or whatever you call something that's more divine, it's like a vibration. It's an actual field. There's a lot of usage of the word vibration, but I don't feel like most people understand or have felt vibrations. But when you feel a vibration, actually it's a hum. It's like your things reverberation back and forth. It's like putting your hands next to a refrigerator and you feel something emanating from that. And that actually is the essence of my work. And because when you actually feel the energies, your body starts swaying back and forth, and it's going, because it's an interaction of that is what is this. When you understand what that movement is, it's the one note that is being sung throughout the world, that is the oscillations of consciousness. Because when you understand, everything is just the emanation of zeros and ones, like the matrix, it kind of like that. Yeah. And when you differentiate how much that zeros and ones, you can actually form a picture or an idea. It's like watching a waterfall, and as that streams falls and how little things, you can start to see like images or something come from that of emptiness and something and nothing.
Man, I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, no, it's really that deep though. Like it's amazing for people like you who can really break it down and see it for what it is, you know. Like the average person is walking by, they just see trees and sunlight. But really, yeah, at the core of it all is it's energy, it's vibration, it's molecular compounds and all these different things. And I actually never thought about it this way, as you were saying, when the two people are swaying together. I mean, that's like a tuning fork, right? The tuning fork has the two prongs. So two people can act like the two prongs and create that vibration between one another, right? So vibration, humming, yeah. And it's also interesting how, like, when you do DMT and others of the more powerful psychedelics, before you blast off, as they say, you start to hear that droning noise. What do you think that is, or how does that play a part in this experience and traveling to the other realms?
Well, I can't really say I experienced that a noise to say. It's just like when I blasted off into 5-MeO, it was just instant. There was no noise as in the music, but it was just like infinite fractals of experience. Because I'm not a very visual person. I just see fractals, and that's it for most of my experience. Actually, most of my psychedelics experience, I've been taking psychedelics because I actually want to see things. I don't really see things. All it does for me is actually just let go of my ego and able to be more sensitive to energy work or hypnosis. And that's where more power is in the actual, when you combine those two. I think psychedelic is great, but by itself is okay. But when you mix it with other types of modalities, that's where its beauty really, truly emerges.
Yeah. My last guest, Kyle, his theory was, you know, when people get on psychedelics and they start to see the fractals, what that is actually the crystals in the pineal gland forming and shifting around. So what we're really, this like fractalization patterns is really the pineal gland's crystals forming and shifting around. Maybe not. It's a pretty good theory, pretty cool theory. I'm still curious about that droning, humming noise. I did DMT once. Actually, I attempted to do DMT once with the DMT pen. It was very low potent. It didn't work. I didn't blast off, but I did get to a very like psychedelic state where I was seeing fractals and stuff like that. And I did hear that droning noise. I started to hear it. It was ramping up. But do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard of that?
I've heard of people talking about, but I have not experienced that myself. Because I've done 5-MeO DMT, but DMT is a little different. I've only done DMT once, I believe, or twice. Yeah, once or twice.
Huh. Okay. Epic, man. All right. So you're doing this work and you're trying to find out why you couldn't do it on yourself. Did you ever end up finding out why you weren't able to do it on yourself?
Oh yeah, it's really just about the really letting go. Because if a person is not able to fully relax and let go into experience, they're not going to experience anything. Because when I do my sessions, if I see someone like open their eyes, I just know they're not going to get into the experience because they're just trying to look for experience out there and they're trying to look at other people, what's happening to them. It's not going to happen when you're trying to see it's not going to be your experience. What other people's experience is not going to be your experience. But it's like if you're crossing your arms or you're trying to like hide yourself, this is about a journey into yourself. You're not going to find yourself by avoiding yourself.
So did you think you were avoiding yourself a little bit?
I think so. Most of my years, I've been a loner most of my life because it was not until like 10 years ago I started really reaching out and starting meeting people and forcing myself to interact with people, because I was mostly a shut-in for a few years, like playing video games and other things, and I didn't really have that many friends. But now I have plenty of friends. But it's really letting go of that old part of me, understanding and grieving for that part of myself, and understanding, giving myself that love. And it was really about one experience of my second energy work was experiencing Christ. Whoa. It was in a journey to the country of Georgia. And I went to this town called Mitzveta, in a church called Sylvari Cathedral, I think. Or it's not a cathedral, but I think that was the term of it. But all of a sudden, when I entered this church, my hand started like shaking like this, and my hand doesn't usually, well, it shakes a lot now, but it doesn't usually shake that much before, unless I'm doing like energy work. So I was wondering what's so special about this church. Well, the first session was that, some saint or kings was buried here. And I just went to the tombstones and just different areas where some relics were buried. And I tried to like put my hands and see if I could feel anything. And no, I didn't feel anything. Well, the second story was that when the church was being built, the last pillar was levitated from the ground. And they couldn't get it back down into the earth until a certain saint prayed over it. I think his name was Saint Nino or something. And they finally got it off the ground. I felt every pillar, yet I still couldn't feel anything special about it. So the third story was that when Christ died, someone brought back a piece of his cloak back to the country of Georgia, and he gave it to his sister. The sister, I forgot it was Sidonia, that was her name. And upon touching the cloak, the sister just immediately started crying and crying and crying. And she died crying, holding onto that cloak, and she was buried with that cloak. So my theory was that was what I experienced. And I didn't think about, that's cool. It was just making my hand shake. I didn't think much about it until like 1 month later. But before I go to this part, I have to go back to one thing. A few years ago, just after my first 5M yoga session, I was doing a mushroom session with my friends. And all of a sudden, I felt like it was a very intense day, and I felt like I was talking in different languages. Like, it feels like Proto-Germanic, mixture of Sanskrit, mixture of High Elven.
Whoa.
And I didn't know what I was saying, but near the tail end of that, I was in my friend's bedroom, and my hand just went into this, started grabbing something and went for this book. And it was the book Conversations with God with Neil Donald Walsh. And I was just flipping over the pages, and my mind was picking out letters and forming sentences with the book. It was actually making out like I was having a conversation with God in the book Conversation with God. And it was not something like huge, like I'm the chosen one or something. It was just like, I'm here with you. I'm just simple messages like that.
Huh.
And I didn't really think much about that until just after that Georgia experience, 1 month after. I said, hey, remember that book, Conversation with God? Maybe you actually meant more than just have a conversation. Maybe you actually meant to actually read it. So I read that entire book the night before. And that's the day after, I was doing a meditation on that experience back at the church. And all of a sudden, my body started automatic breathing. It's like, and I've never done that in my life. It's never occurred to me in my life. And the words I see came, and I see the love that I am. And the words I receive the love that I am. And all of a sudden, this presence came over me, and I was just literally crying and feeling such amazing gratitude for things that hasn't even happened yet in my life. That night, I called two of my friends. One showed up that night and the other showed up the next day, but they were able to experience the exact same thing. So it's a really simple things that I teach other people to do. It's just really just holding each other people in the hands, and we just eye gaze and just repeat the phrase, I receive the love that I am. And I was able to transmit that presence, and they were able to experience that, because it's a little different in Kundalini when you experience it. Because when you experience Kundalini, it's about experiencing freedom, experiencing Shakti. It's allowing you the freedom to be you, to learn to be in this planet, to be in this lifetime, because it magnifies whatever you are. It's like that gasoline expression. It pulls you in and experiencing that whole depth of you. But when you're experiencing Christ, it's about love. And when you experience love, it doesn't makes you any different. It just allows you to be you and accepts you for who that are. And you realize that all the things that you've been doing in your life is for that aim of love. It's for that inner love that you're seeking. You're like a lighthouse and you're trying to see love outside somewhere else. And sometimes you can see another lighthouse and then, oh, hey, I found it. That's love. That's where it is. And you made that mistake that it's over there. But what you're seeing is that that's the light that's shining within that person. And you're not realizing that you have your own light that you're emanating out within yourself. But that's a reminder of where that light is. It is the one light and same light that you are, that you're shining within yourself. And it's the same partnership.
Wow. Beautifully said. Man, so much to say on that. So basically you're like a metal detector for like spiritual energy.
I wish I could say that, but actually I'm not as sensitive as people would like me to be. I'm physically very sensitive. Like like if you give me a staff, I'm really good with movements. I'm really good with body movements, and the style of my things is more physical than, because I separated my work into 3 different types of experiences. There are those people who have like kinesthetics, like me, who their body started moving, start doing yoga or martial arts or dance without any previous training. Those are more rare types. The second types are more common. These are types of more visual types. They see visions of divine beings. They see deceased relatives, deceased pets sometimes. Even if they feel like translocated to another time, another space, another location. There are another types that are more experience emotional catharsis. They experience purges of emotions. They cry, they scream, they shout, they laugh. And when you let go of all that emotion, they enter into a state of bliss after a few sessions. And that bliss stays with them.
Wow.
But everyone has a different types of session. I can't tell you what a person experienced. Everyone have a different experience, and every session is a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's and also what I want to say, going back to when you said you were a loner, it's interesting how you said like you were avoiding yourself, but you were alone. Isn't that interesting? How you were alone. You had all the necessary means to not avoid yourself because you were just by yourself.
Yeah.
But you found yourself and stopped avoiding yourself when you decided to go into the world.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting how that works, right? So when we're alone, a lot of times we actually are avoiding ourselves, avoiding what's hurting, what's going on inside. And we have to step out and start practicing our energy, practicing our power by being in the world. Because out here is where that's going to be tested. You know, out here is where who you really are will shine. You know, when we're at our house, I mean, yeah, you're comfortable, you're in your underwear, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you're just doing you. But it's not until you get out here that you'll be tested and shown just how powerful you really are.
Yeah, when you move through that, it's... Wow, what was I going to say? I lost it for a second. Could you go back to what you were just saying?
When you're alone, you're avoiding yourself. But when we're out in the world, that's when we really get tested and allow ourselves to shine. You know,
I had something to say, but I just one second, I just lost track of that.
Interesting. Happened just when the military helicopters flew over. They hijacked your thought, man.
I guess.
They took it away. They said, nope, not today. We'll get you next time. You know, but that's just amazing. And so you finally broke through. And so you have been able to do work on yourself now?
Yes.
And so what have you found about yourself? What has come up?
Really, it's just trusting this movement style, because there's a philosophy embedded in this style. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Tai Chi or Wing Chun martial arts, because it feels like it's a blending of those both, even though it's not. It feels like it's a mix of Taoism and Hinduism at the same time. When you see the full-blown martial arts in action, it's both like a dance, a martial arts, and both a prayer to God at the same time. Because I was researching what these movements are, and I said, so many people have different gifts. Like, why can't it just make me like wealthy or just have better chance for girls or something? Like, why did I learn martial arts of all things? Like, I'm not gonna fight anybody.
Hey, you might need it one day. You never know.
Yeah, I might need it one day. But it was not until I was looking into Taoism and and both Taoism and Chinese medicine and what the earlier history about how this all began. And I was looking into the history, and there was some funny correlates to people actually experiencing toad medicine. In ancient China, there was something about swallowing toads poison and becoming immortal. And while I don't think they mean physical immortality, I think they actually meant becoming the immortal spirit, which is God, after taking it. I think that's how, from my experience of taking 5-MeO, I mean, I might be immortal after taking it, but I don't think so. I'm still alive. I haven't died so far.
Let's test it out.
But when you look into the older, more powerful energy works of the ancient masters, it's really miraculous. There are people who can actually generate electricity with their hands. I mean, I've seen it in videos, and I've talked to doctors who are able to do that. And I've seen videos of people actually heal like cancer in real time in just a matter of seconds of just doing energy works. I've seen doctors doing the videos of that in a Chinese medical facility. And I've seen like people lighting things on fire, and I've seen talk to a doctor who just instantly touch a person, electricity runs through them, and their body just starts shaking around and just getting into that. And he speaks of like different types of posture a person makes, and it explains how it explains the inner turmoil of the emotions that reflects those movements, about what those movements represent and how that flow. Because the body is it's a diagram of like the earth almost, because there's different rivers. And when a different river is kind of clouded, it dams up, it moves through different ways. The energy moves through different ways in the body, and you perform different types of movements. So depending how all your organ system, the energy flows, the movements will be a little different for that person. So when I started understanding his technique and how he started, why am I learning these type of movements? These are ultra fast movements that most people can't, it's really hard to even see. And when I started listening to how he started, because he went back to one of the classics, which is called the tendon and muscle classics. In Chinese medicine, at first, when most people read about it, it's really about just stretching. It's kind of like a Chinese version of yoga. But when you do it for a very long term, mixed with another type of Chinese practice called Neigong, which is a deeper form of Qigong, your body starts developing other type of powers, similar to Hinduism, where you develop siddhis or powers that could manipulate different type of your body systems, like generation of electricity or fire or psychic powerful senses. I think it's trying to teach me towards entering that. Right now, my body started kind of like channeling like a microcurrent. It has not like been achieved a level of like a direct voltage yet, but I can still, some people can feel like when I put my hands on a person, they can feel like a wave or something, like little currents of energy pulsating through your body. So I'm just not sure if this is, because the way I'm learning things is a lot different than how a lot of people are learning from themselves. So I'm not sure if this is my own way, or this is everyone's graduate towards that same road.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because our body is basically electric.
Yeah.
You know, the nervous system is basically an electrical system.
Yeah.
And as they say, Kundalini Shakti is awakening that serpent, that Shakti at the coil. It's coiled up. And that's a part of the reason why people start freaking out and having these convulsions and stuff, is because the nervous system's freaking out and waking up for the first time in a really powerful way. And so, yeah, man, I've heard stories of these, I guess you could say, yogis, these monks, these spiritual masters creating fire with their hands. I've seen that video, that old video on YouTube where it's like the dude, he's wearing like all blue.
Oh, yeah. Zhang Chen.
Yeah. He's burning paper with his hands. That's badass, man. I would love to do that, just start a fire with your hands. Have you ever tried doing that or something like that?
Not so far yet. The closest I've got was once when I was at a healing party, and there was a bunch of healers, and I met this psychic there who had some really cool psychic abilities. She was able to do. She had this this science experiment kind of things where there's like a little beaker, and this has this vial, a tube that goes up, and there's water on there. And she can actually make her mind heat up that little vial and make the water goes up. So I was doing it with my friends, and I was able to reproduce the same effects. But however, it didn't work after that person was gone. So I think I'm a really great when there's another person around me, because I'm a great, copycat, because I can actually copy the person's energy and amplify that person's energy while they're with me. Because one of my unique abilities, or very strange abilities, is that I can sing anything I hear right now. And, well, if it's not in English, I can sing anything and match anything, that song, before, if I never even heard it before. Like I could sing in Turkish, I could sing in Russian, even though I don't even know that language. I could, if I can hear it at that very moment, I can do it.
No way.
Yeah.
Anything except English.
Everything, because I feel like I know English. It's kind of really hard for me to sing in that, enter into that space.
Should we test this out?
If you like.
Let's see. So if I play like any song, and you'll hear it for a moment, and we stop it, you can repeat it.
No, I have to sing with it.
Oh, you have to sing with it.
I have to sing along at the same time. I can't, because if I wait, then I'd lose track, because I could just get in tune at that same moment of where that's singing.
Okay, so if we just play a random song right now.
Yeah, as long as it's not in English.
As long as it's not English, you'll catch up and you'll just start singing along with it?
Yeah.
All right, I want to see this. Let's see the master at work. I'm going to just play like a random song in a different language. Oh, wait, I don't have service out here. You got away this time. That's a cool gift, though. I mean, man, you could be like an opera singer or something,
Well, I could sing along with it, but I don't know how well I sing along. I'm best with Indian songs. That's really because I do a lot of that in my ceremonies. Because when I do energy work, I usually sing along with those type of songs. But that's the best ways to meld for energies. Well, ayahuasca songs, I could sing those too, along with it.
I'm terrible at that. Like when I go to what do they call them? Where you sing along together? Kirtan.
Oh, kirtan.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, a kirtan is basically it's like a meditation, and then the teacher will be leading it by singing Hindu mantras, and they're usually playing like in an accordion or something, And so we all sing together the Hindu mantras, and I suck at it, man. I just cannot keep up with it. Like I'll just be in the class just mumbling it, But what I'm good at is humming, though. Like I'll just follow the melody, like okay, like whatever melody they're singing, I'll just hum it. I'll just sing the melody, But I can't do that. I can't keep up with the Hindu words. I try. But okay, I think there was something else I was gonna say, but I don't remember. Okay, so you do acupuncture, I think we've talked enough about the energy work that you do.
Yes.
But you also do acupuncture and hypnotherapy?
Yes, hypnotherapy. My specialty before was in past life regressions, but I've realized that you don't really need to do past life regressions. I mean, it's just more, if you just get into that non-dual state of just that union with divinity, it's actually, and you just give it commands, it actually helps a lot better that way. Because when you do past life regressions, you have to figure out what's the best way to handle this. It's like, how do I fix this life? You're trying to fix something, and you're trying to understand what went wrong, and you're putting ideas of it, and you're trying to reframe it in this lifetime of something else that occurs in that lifetime. You're trying to put a modern view of what happens in the past life, different timeline view, because that doesn't usually mesh out as well. I mean, it does work, but it's a lot easier if you just go into a deep state. What I found that what went wrong was that my teacher was mostly doing like a light to medium level depth of hypnosis. What the power is in deep hypnosis. Very in deep hypnosis, get into higher states of consciousness. That's when you fully surrender and let go. When you realize that you hold a lot of tension in your body, that's your resistance to true healing. And when you let go of that, when you fully surrender to that, your body could go into full repair mode and to understand to let go of what has to be. Most of our issues is a part of the ego, that we see things of impending doom or impending things that come into our life that has no reflection on reality. And when you let that go, we can see things in a different light. We can able to reframe our minds about what is possible and what is true reality.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how we do that a lot. Like, we're always worrying about these things that don't even exist. Like, oh my God, next week I have to go do this thing. Next year, tomorrow I have this going on. You might not make it to tomorrow, or something might change the course of events and it might go differently. Like, we're constantly trying to, it's a powerful thing that we do and have, is the ability to foresee a future and manifest that if we want to. But, it's a double-edged sword, because we're like constantly making up these realities that don't exist. And it could end up being an unfortunate turn of events where this thing we're worrying about ends up coming true.
Yeah.
So.
Reminds me when I was in Turkey this last time, and there was this really intelligent guy that because I saw him online first before I went to Turkey, and he was very sensitive to energy work, and he was really amazed, and he actually saw a dream of me before I came to Turkey. And he had, because a group of my friends and him was partnered together to open up this hotel business that I was working at, this little seaside, little resort things. And he was really stressed out because it was kind of really breaking the friendship, because when you have 4 people trying to make things work and trying to do a business, each one is a boss and trying to have to do this way, have to do that way. It was just giving so much anxiety. And I was saying, and he was experiencing good from the energy work, but he needed another level. And I was just saying that, well, I never done this particular thing before. And I say, I think you can actually experience it, because only one who has actually experienced something similar was my cousin, who I did it to. And I thought, since you're still sensitive to my energy work, I think you can experience the next level and to experience God with that. And it's not God. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I can't believe God exists in such a world of so many bad stuff happening. It's like, well, I really trust you, Sylvari, but you're kind of really pulling my strings here. So I said, well, just let go. You don't have to put any beliefs. Just let go of what is possible. And so we did this. So I set him up for 3 sessions of just learning just to surrender first, just because you have to enter that relaxed state before I surprise you what that is. And when he did that, he just also started that tears of crying and vibrations that he felt. And that was able just to bring him a peace that was able to move him to that month of just hardship with his companions. Even though it didn't really work out in the end for that business, it actually helped him move him forward to that. And he was able to move his life in another direction afterwards. This business ended.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And so you did some hypnotherapy from at that time?
Yeah, I have hypnotherapy at that time.
So what does that look like? What is the process when you're putting somebody into a hypnotherapy?
Well, it's just a long process of just relaxing your hands and feet, and just gradual process of letting go. It's just telling you that in a really long time, so your mind is just entering a deeper and deeper and deeper state of relaxation.
And then once you're like fully sunken in, that's when you can like kind of reprogram the brain and the mind to reset and see life in a new way.
Yeah, because what you have to understand about brain waves is that all brain waves of octaves of each other. When you enter after a really slow brain wave like epsilon, which is one of the lowest ones, it's a refractal of a lambda or gamma, and they are actually the same waves, but they're just on different type of what you call frequencies, and they reflect each other. So when you go into the slowest mode of thinking, a slowest mode of being, you enter into that infinite state of consciousness too.
Interesting. Have you heard of the CIA declassified document known as Project Gateway?
Oh yeah, the Monroe Project?
Yeah.
That thing is trippy. It's like ultra-dimensional entities. Like, I never expected like they would reveal like different like things in a report like that.
Yeah, right. Like, and that was written in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, I've done some videos on that. You can check it out. But I love that paper, man. It's so moving and impactful. Like when have you read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Too.
Have you tried their work, actually?
I have not.
You should try their app. Their app is really, really good.
Monroe?
Yeah.
They have an app?
They have an app.
No way.
I actually went to a Conscious Life Expo in LA, and I actually went to them, and they actually gave me a free month, and it was a pretty well done app.
Heck yeah, I got to try that. I'll see if I can partner up with them, get a sponsorship. But yeah, I love Monroe's work, and that paper too. That paper is just, everybody should read that paper, man.
You can actually, I think they have a YouTube, and they actually have recordings of those sessions.
Yeah.
Though I can't say the recordings are that good. It's because it's back in that time period. It's very crackly.
Yeah,
it's hard to hear.
Somebody emailed me, shout out to the homie. He emailed me all the original Monroe recordings from like tape 1 up to like tape 5 or something, I forgot. But I have a couple of them uploaded on my channel, which people love. No ad breaks, you know? So, but yeah, that paper, the reason I brought it up is because in that paper, they talk about the brain waves. And what was really fascinating is that they realized that basically the opposite of time and space is not death, but the opposite of time and space is infinity. Because in infinity, time and space don't exist. Everything exists at once. And when we're here in this physical realm of time and space, we're operating on a certain wavelength, frequencies. But the interesting thing about infinity is that if you were to look at it on an oscilloscope, it would look like a straight line, because infinity is vibrating so high that the vibration starts to dissipate and just look like a straight line. And so, yeah, I just was wondering what your thoughts on that were, you know, about infinity not being time and space, but everything, and getting to that place of infinity by vibrating so high that, again, if you were to look at it on an oscilloscope, it just looks like a straight line because of how fast it is.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll start with the closest thing to explaining that is probably the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
That was the closest to explain like a 5-MeO experience of infinity, because you experience all things are happening all at once, and what you do in one place actually affects another place, and all lives are interconnected. How you heal yourself, you cannot heal the world without starting within yourself. When you first begin healing parts of yourself, other things you don't know how far off or how close, something else is affected around the world because you change how you interact with the world.
Yeah, I love that movie. That was a fun one to watch. But it's so mind-boggling, man. Like, really. It'd be cool if have you ever met one of your other selves?
if I've ever met one of my other selves. I only had one past life that actually was able to like record. Like I have people tell me my past life story, but I have only one that actually felt who I was. But I don't know if I was the guy or a girl in that lifetime, because I feel like I was the guy, but all I kept seeing was the girls, like describing the girl, because in that lifetime, that guy was known to be extremely in love with that other person. And so I'm not sure, maybe I was just infatuated, or was I the girl? I don't know.
It's funny. I just had a friend on the show not that long ago, and he had a past life regression, and it turned out he was a woman at one point, I guess, and he was like on the run from something. And I mean, yeah, we could have all been the opposite gender at some point.
Oh, I mean, in the span of infinity, you will be.
Of course, absolutely, yeah. I guess it's not too bad, right? Why not? You know, why not? Why not be it all? But so you also wrote a book, or you're in the process of writing a book.
Oh yeah, really strange story, because I did a psychic reading. I've done a few psychic readings in my life, and at that time I was really looking for one. My friend called me up and just said, "You gotta see this guy." And she had a really traumatic incident where her family died, and she saw this guy, and she had a conversation with her family of that. I said, "Oh, I've seen a lot of people who claims that, but since she was so much into him, I'll give it a try."
Yeah.
And the first thing he said was he just said my grandfather's name, like he spelled it out, and it's the pinyin name for he spelled out in Chinese. And then I said, "Oh, I got to record this." And so I started recording it, and then he said my father's name, and then he said my mom's name, and told me like my grandparents died 17 years ago, which was when the time of the reading, it was exactly when they died.
Wait, hold up. Who was this?
I sent you the video. His name is Lawson Patterson.
Oh, Lawson Patterson.
He was really amazing. Like I sent him friends who were in Iran and Russia and other countries, and who had relatives there, and they were able to tell them like their relatives' names too. It was
Lawson Patterson.
Yeah.
Where is he from?
I think it's in Oregon or Washington or something. Yes. Yeah. And one of the things that he said was that I was going to write a book about that. I mean, I've already written a book. I started writing a book, and I was so surprised that he knew about it. And I just had a collection of writings. I just really put my efforts into writing more and more of it. It's not fully done yet, but a lot of it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just really looking for a publisher really right now. But
what's the book about?
It was really about my life journeys and about this energy work and everything I experienced, and this conversation just way more in depth about and the beauty of because I'm more of a writer than I'm a speaker, because my language is really unique and different when I write, because I used to be like a poet.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a writer at heart as well. You know, when I speak, I'm kind of laid back. You know, I come from a street culture, so I appreciate just slang and whatever. But when I write, it is a lot more cordial, a lot more artistic and descriptive. It's just a different magic, it's a whole different world when you write. I love it. I've been writing since I was a kid. Is that the first book you've worked on?
Yeah, that's my first book I worked on.
That's cool. Yeah, I know you sent me the PDF. I've been so busy, I haven't had time.
No worries.
But I'm excited to check it out. Do you have a title for it yet?
I Received the Love That I Am. I think there was something else at the end, but I forgot what it was at the moment. But I Received the Love That I Am.
I received the love that I am. So that's like your main mantra.
That is.
And so all of your work is centered around that mantra.
That's my second type of energy work. The first work is really Om Shiva Shakti, which is the union of the divine. Yeah.
Om Shiva Shakti. I've done a kirtan with that one before.
Yeah.
That's a powerful one. Dang, man. So you're working on the book now. Any other exciting things coming up?
Not yet, but always open to experiences. Like, my life has been really a crazy journey. It's like I meet really odd, unique people all the time. Like I was just doing massage one time, and then the world champion arm wrestlers, I befriended them, and I became like their people who would treat them. I was at an anime, just a meetup group, and all of a sudden I saw this guy in a t-shirt, and he was like a small little guy, and I thought, at least I thought he was small. And then I said, hey, are you like new in town? I just invited him to explore San Diego. And so I was walking around like Seaport Village, and I was like, hey, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm a fighter. It's like, oh, you're a fighter? What's your name? I mean, what's your full name? And so I looked him up, DJ Taiki, and I found out he's like the MMA champion of Japan.
No way.
Yeah. And then this one time I was just like couch surfing and like in Amsterdam, and all of a sudden I got this older guy just messaged me, and I thought, oh, it's kind of stranger guy. I never got met. It's my first time couch surfing. A stranger just messaged me, and I feel kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And I went up I thought, oh, well, just give it a try. It's like I can run away if there's anything happens.
Yeah.
And so I knocked on the door of Amsterdam, and I'm in the front, a bay view of Amsterdam. And it's a small little apartment, and there was nothing too lavish about it, except that it was like front view of the bay. And I went up 3 stories, and I knocked on the door, and he was really polite, and he was really nice. And all of a sudden he showed me this tiny little room, and there were all these awards. And it's like, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears. Well, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And it's like, turns out he was like, used to be the former VP of Sony Music.
What?
And he just owns his own studios and such. And he recorded for Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. And I got to sleep in the same bed. I think Katy Perry slept there.
Whoa.
And
yeah.
And I met like other people who are NFL, NBA players, and it's just by chance.
Wait, this guy just randomly texted you?
Yeah, because I just put my ad on like couch surfing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, she's couch surfing in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, come sleep on my couch.
Yeah.
Same bed that Katy Perry slept in, huh?
Yeah, I did.
You know what they call that? Selling your soul.
I guess.
No. Oh, that's cool. So are you still friends with him?
I'd try to reach out if I travel around that area, but he moved. I think he still has an Amsterdam. I visited him in London, but I haven't really been back to Europe around those similar type of places, unfortunately.
Wow, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's interesting. So you've traveled the world a bit.
I travel the world. I mean, I've hanged out with both really rich people, really poor people. Some days I slept in mansions. Some days I just sleep in like parks. It's just like, I'm not really rich myself. I just go along the flow and just hang out with people.
Rich in experiences.
I hang out with different people. Like some people are like super liberal. Some people are ultra conservative. Like I've hanged out with people who like have tons of guns inside their house. Some people who are like strong conservative Christian women, like older ladies, and I hang out with them. And I've been with like villagers in Muslim countries, and I hanged out with them. And I was like, one time I had they slaughtered a cow, and they gave me a whole liver I used to cook with in the village.
What?
Yeah.
The way. Dang, dude, you've been all over the world, just traveling. Is that all going to be in your book?
Oh yeah, most of it.
Heck yeah, man. What are a couple experiences that really, really stand out that like are impactful?
Oh, it's probably also in this Turkey experience. There was a few healings that was really, truly amazing. There was one British guy that married a Turkish woman there, and he fell down and he injured his neck spine that he couldn't really get much motion or had really limited range of motion. And he didn't really have that much money, and so I treated him during that experience because I needed like a demo for my experiences.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't really experience much during the energy work. All he does was his body was kind of just trembling, kind of like this during the energy work. And I did some acupuncture with him too. And within like 6 treatments, he was able to get more range of motion. But what's really amazing was that how bad his arm was, he was able to get like 3 bullseyes in one night of darts. Because most of the bullseyes before, he was like getting off the things, and it was really hurting him when he threw. And he was able to get that after those sessions.
Yeah.
Another guy, he was had stroke, and he actually came from like 2 hours away drive, 2 or 3 hours, to see me because of a friend recommended me from away, and he had a stroke probably about over 6 months ago before I saw him. And when I saw him, he needed about 4 people to hold him up to walk to the camp I was at. And at first, I was doing energy work on him. He experienced nothing. He wasn't able to, he didn't cry, his body didn't move, and he was kind of really angry at me. Kind of like, I came all this way. I wanted to experience something.
Yeah.
But I told him to keep at it, keep trying. And within the 3rd session, he like needed 3 people to move him. By the end of it, he only needed like 1 person to like assist him to move. So, I wish I could have done more, but my visa ran out and I had to leave the country for that. And so
Jesus on a visa. Sorry, miracle's over.
Yep, Jesus, it's over. But the most amazing one was that one day I was just doing, there was this, I think it was probably 18 or even younger than that. There was a kid came for me for drug addiction. And he was having like a really blissful encounter in that he was even better than drugs when he experienced it. But that was not the amazing part. The amazing part was that when I was doing the session with him, it was not an aunt, but it was something like an aunt. It was like a neighbor, but it was kind of like a relationship with an aunt that was there. And she kept looking into like our sessions, like what's going on, what's happening. It's like he was so interested in it. It's like I kind of just wave, come on, just join us.
Yeah.
I felt I just give her a session for free too. And so I had her sit down, asking what's going on in your life, what's happening. And turns out her whole family just passed away under this huge earthquake that just happened in Turkey like half a year ago, just before I went there.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to her, and I did the Christ energy, and I put my hands on her chest and her hands on mine. I just kept put that, and immediately it's actually very similar to Lawson's video. And when I touched her chest, immediately her body, just something came over her, this presence, and she was able to like encounter her connection with her family again. And she just felt that deep connections that were still here and with them. And she was just so happy and excited. And that was one of my most special sessions I carry in my heart. Wow.
Yeah, man. Geez, you must see like a lot of miracles. You've seen a lot. Must be challenging, to hold space for all that energy, the good and the bad and the weird.
Well, when you do this medicine, it's really not about doing anything. It's really just about doing nothing. It's really about letting yourself go. You're not here to heal anybody. You're here just to be that facilitating of their own healing, because that's where the ego comes in, because I have to heal this. I have to be the doctor. I have to be that. When you enter into the process, it is a somatic play, where it's a play. We're connecting with each other. We're understanding each other. We're bantering forth between each other. No one's better, neither you or I. We're just the same or equal, but through this play, through this understanding, we come to an understanding of our own selves and to letting go of what we are. Because when I interact with my friends, I'm very joking. I'm a jokester like that. I'm very sarcastic. I'm very that. I'm not that way for people I meet at first, but when I warm up to you, I'm very joking, and people get like really surprised by that, because I don't seem like that at first.
Yeah.
And what you understand, what jokes are, is to really point out the issues so you can to address them for yourselves. Because when you encounter me, when I start to joking, it's going to trigger some stuff to happen, and it's going to bring out those issues. And I don't say things in a bad way, like I don't insult people, I don't like make fun of them, but I just like in a laugh, joke, like, hey, lighthearted way.
You got a big forehead.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. But in a way that we have fun, you come to understand, you laugh at each other, we laugh at ourselves, and when we do that, we enlighten ourselves, we let go of what we think we are. And that's where our issues is. We think we have to do something. We have to be someone. We don't. We are that naturally. When you understand what this work is, it's about spontaneity. It's about just being yourself and just naturally doing what you feel like you're doing. In Taoism, you're not trying to force anything. Everything is just natural, spontaneous. When you try to force something, you have to redo it and over again to repeat that same pattern. And you're trying to make something work that sometimes maybe it's not supposed to work.
Yes, I love that, man. Being fluid, just being yourself, being authentic. And I love the idea of not having to do anything, but just be. You know, the power of being. I mean, look at the trees. Trees are just being. You know, sometimes my favorite thing to do is just not do anything, right? I mean, relax. It's what we call relaxing. I'm just going to relax today. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to be. Because the world makes us feel, especially here in the West, makes us feel like we constantly have to be doing things. We have to be somebody. I have to make it. I have to be successful. I have to be rich. I have to be famous. You know, all these things. But it's like, hey, have you ever just tried chilling out? You know, ever just tried appreciating that you're alive? That's very powerful also. Yeah,
because when you understand animals, they actually naturally be themselves. They don't have to think, oh, am I doing this a human way or just doing this animal way? Right. They have that program within them. Humans have the benefit of thought and thinking, of trying to look back and reconsider things. But that has an issue of itself that we take outside of what is already natural within ourselves. We put ourselves in positions we don't want to be in, and that causes a different emotional turmoil that develops stress, that develops that when you enter into like a non-dual experience, sometimes you shout out things or say things that you've been holding onto, that you've been you can't really control, especially with 5-MeO-DMT. You start saying random things that you don't know why. And that's because there are languages that we hold on, stuff that we hold on internally that we cannot really let go. And when we start talking of these things, we're able to release that energy. All that stuck emotion is just language within ourselves that are stuck in a repeating cycle. And until we can actually let that go out, then we can't really resume a different cycle.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. The power of letting go. I was just thinking about that recently. Actually, I made a post on my Instagram recently about how success doesn't come when you're focused on what you can gain, but more so when you're focused on what you can let go.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a cliche. I mean, that is really true. And that's actually been true in my life. Like recently, I'm the most successful I've ever been right now. Not to boast, but it's just the truth in all areas of my life. But to get where I'm at today, I had to let go of a marriage that was really hard to let go of, you know, a love that was really hard to let go of. I had to say goodbye to my dog of 11 years, who I loved a lot, you know, died in my arms. I had to say goodbye to my living situations, say goodbye to my old world, just all of it, you know, everything, to be where I'm at today. And I had to say goodbye to my partying and my drugs. I'm 2 months sober right now. So I realized the other day, like, wow, like when I decided to let go of all this stuff, life really started to move quicker. Life didn't move quicker, but the blessings came in quicker, more direct. I was like, wow, because my channel was open. You know, if you're blocked, if you have all this blocked energy, these blessings can't come in. They'll be deflected because you're not ready for it. But when I let go, life was like, okay, you're ready for the next step. You're ready to be upgraded to the next level. So I definitely resonate with that. Well, man, we could go on for days.
I definitely could.
We could. I mean, there's so much to say, man. Sylvari, this has been amazing. I know that people are going to love this. Are there any last things you'd like to say and share?
Really about what this practice is about really going into your virtue, of really about going into the worship of both you and the relationship of your interactions with people. Because all life, what is meaningful, is about the virtues you express out into this world. It's not about what you get in life. It's not about success. It's about what you make of this life, the beauty you transform, what life gives you. You may give you a slab of wood and an ugly piece of wood, but you can carve out a beautiful angel from that wood. And how you express yourself and understand yourself. All your pains can be transformed into something magnificent, something wonderful, something marvelous.
I love that. Those words are going to ring in my head forever. Take an ugly piece of wood and carve an angel out of it. Well, thanks, man. If you'd like, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, how they can connect with you and work with you, so on.
You can probably just find me on my Instagrams. Just Google Sylvari.
Hey, and that's going to be in the link in the description below. Go check him out. Go get his book when it comes out. Everything. Book a consultation now. Get the hypnotherapy, the acupuncture, the energy work. You need it. The world needs it. Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And thank you. You know what it is. We love you. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, man. We did it.
We did it. It was so cool.
Yes.